Hello everybody, it's me again. Today's date is January 17th, 2018, or 1/17/2018 is the date that I am filming this portion of this video. Now, again, I keep telling you that it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse for these people. This is the only document that I need. This is the problem for them. Right here. Right here. Well, in this video, I have talked about the two other men that it happens to. That the very same thing had happened to. Well, in this video, I am going to show you the arrest and booking reports, and we're going to read their narratives of the remaining four. There's four arrest and booking reports that we haven't seen yet, giving them a total of 7 arrests, 7 supposed arrests. Okay, and what you're going to see is that just like with this so-called narrative in the with the 60-year-old guy that it happened to first, and with the 67-year-old man who has Parkinson's disease, you're going to see that their narrative section does not have a timeline, so you don't know how long they were there. Also, neither of the people, neither the 60-year-old nor the 67-year-old has any money. There is no evidence of anything taking place. In fact, the 60-year-old guy, you'll see. You will see. Okay? But before that, I tell you all, we already know now that they've caught themselves trying to cover this up. Okay? They've documented themselves as trying to cover this up. Now, what did they do? What did they do? They are told by the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper that they screwed up. They're told by the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper, because dummies, well, again, you'll see. It's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious when you look at it now. I laugh now. I wasn't laughing then. Because what they're about to do is they are about to try to set me up, just like they tried to set me up on December 3rd, they're going to try to set me up again. This time, without my knowledge, without knowing anything, they just show up at my house. Trust me, you'll understand when you see this video. But when we go over the rest, why are they so concerned with me? Here's why. I am the only one of all of the 7 supposed arrests that has not documented and said that I was trying to pay for sex. That I was the only one in the entire, and you're going to read it, I was the only one that ever called up and asked for, what is it? Information. Everybody else calls up and asks to see an escort, a girl, asks for sex acts. I don't. We've already gone over it again. We've already been through my narrative, all 222 words of it. Okay? So now they have documented themselves as having, well, you'll see. They now have two arrest and booking reports numbered 97047 97047 They have this one, and then they have the one that they have rewritten. And now they were trying to get this, well, you'll see. You'll see. Now their job is to get rid of me by whatever means necessary. And watch what these sick people do. They're desperate. They've documented themselves now. There's no way of erasing it. They now have both a non-existent felony case file, and they also have a non-existent misdemeanor case file. And both case files, as you already know, list the very same arrest and booking report number 9704799-5. And remember, while you're watching all of this, every single law enforcement officer that I have gone to, every single attorney that I have gone to, knows everything is wrong. As soon as they look at this document, they know it's wrong. It shouldn't exist. They know it. Why are they playing stupid? Well, again, because of, one, it's been over 20 years now. And you who say, oh, there's nothing going to happen about this, they're never going to do anything about this now. It's too late. You want to bet? Wait till you see what they have been doing. Because they have been doing a lot. They've been jumping like a cat on a hot tin roof. And that's going to come out in the next few videos that I do. Okay? But again, in this one, when you see a pattern. You see the very same thing being done to every single guy. The only difference is I'm the only one that did not ask. The only thing I ever asked for was, again, information. Information. You never see that arrest, and their arrest narratives are like 4 sentences long. Mine is a book. It's an essay. And my problem, well, you'll understand. You will understand. The problem that they have is I'm the only one who has not, at the very least, had his attorney, do not ever give up your voice. Do not ever allow anyone to speak for you. You do not need anyone to speak for you. You are not a child. You are an adult. All you have to do is tell the truth. Period. I am the only one that did not ask for a girl or ask for an escort. I'm the only one that did not either come. I never had anybody come to my house. I never met anyone anywhere. Period. I didn't go to them. They didn't come to me. I am the problem. If they do not get rid of me, they're all going to go to prison. And the only reason why it has gone on for 20 plus years is because all of these people are choosing to overlook it because they are convinced that, well, they're up here and all of us criminals are way down there. There's no one above you. There's no one below you. That is not a minister of Almighty God. That's not a minister of Almighty God. These people are a disgrace to law enforcement. They are a disgrace to the judicial system. They are bullies. They are control freaks. They are the problem. And if you think that by today's date, 2018, that the entire every attorney that I went to knew about this. They all chose to lie about me. Why? Because they don't care about the law. They're just worried about money. Period. Period. Again, hello, they know about it now. How come we haven't had the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office come out and say, if I'm wrong, if I'm doing something wrong, then how come I haven't been arrested? Why? I called up the chief judge 4 times. How come they haven't come arrested me for harassment? Because I'm not doing anything wrong. They're crooked. They're the ones that are wrong. The only question that remains is, what are you going to do about it? Don't ask me what I'm going to do about it. You ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand? Are you going to cower down and be afraid of a lie, of a bully? Again, I'm in the very same location. They know exactly where I am. They have my email address. They have 2 phone numbers of mine. They don't want anything to do with me. Why? Because I'm right. And you're seeing it with your own eyes. Why are they so afraid of me now? Well, because Cherish Periwinkle was kidnapped, raped, and murdered, and it's all on them. It's called culpable negligence. That's why. This is over and done with, folks. And again, I've been told by my God that I need to get before the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper, because she is the one, it's her signature that makes all of this look legal. They've been keeping me from her, is what they've been doing. They've been trying to get me alone, try to set me up, just like they did back in 1997. It gets worse. It only gets worse for these criminals. Wait till you watch this video and you'll understand. They are so stuck like Chuck. And again, remember, it's their documents that I'm using. I'm not using an opinion. I'm using their documents. I'm using Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrest and booking reports. I'm using court documents. And I'm using clerk of the court search records. I'm not doing a Google search. I'm not pulling out for some professor. This is their documents. This is out of their own mouth. They are admitting what they did. So don't ask me what I'm going to do. You ask yourself, what are you going to do? It's time to do exactly what I've been encouraging you all to do for 2 years. It's time to, 1, God up. Then if you're a man, man up. If you're a woman, woman up. Okay? And you do that by armoring up with the armor of Almighty God. And then you stand where Almighty God stands, tells you to stand, and then you just trust and believe that Almighty God is going to do what He's going to do. Well, hello. I've been showing you, this is the handiwork of Almighty God. All of this, all I had to do was go where Almighty God told me to go and get, and this, all of the information was waiting for me. Waiting for me. All of it. I went, He told me what to go get, I went, they said, okay, here it is. I didn't do anything. Almighty God has done everything. Period. So this, where we pick up in this video is they have removed me from the equation. They have rewritten this arrest and booking report. They have filed it as a misdemeanor. They have had a court case on paper saying, and now they're waiting for the sentencing date. And you're seeing it. You're looking at their own documents, and it's explained using their own documents. No one can come out and tell me that I'm wrong. No one. None of the lawyers that I've gone to, none of the clerks have told me I'm wrong. No Jacksonville Sheriff's officer has told me I'm wrong. No one has told me that I'm wrong. All I'm ever asked is, so why do you think they haven't done anything about it? Well, because they're a criminal and they're caught. That's why. The question is, How much longer are you? What would you do if this happened to you? If any of this happened to you or someone that you love, what would you do? And again, that's why I'm going through this. I'm going to make sure that these people that have done this will never have the opportunity to ever do it to anyone else again. Somebody needs to go tell the 3 Thornton women it's not their fault that Cherish Periwinkle was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. June 21st, 2015. 2013, rather. June 21st, 2013. Somebody needs to go tell the Mother Periwinkle that it's not her fault. Because Donald Smith was unleashed on the public. And the wheels were set in motion way back in 1997. Because these people, these control freaks, we refused, for whatever reason. They're in charge. Look what happens. They stole 20 years of my life. Well, I'm going to get it back, Bubba. I'm going to get everything that's owed me, I'm going to get. So says the law. The 3 Thornton women are going to be told they're going to have that burden lifted off of them. They're not responsible because they are being mentally tortured. Yep. And the Periwinkle family will have closure, real closure, instead of having guilt. Donald Smith should have never been released from jail on May 30th, 2013, only so that he could 21 days later kidnap, rape, and murder Cherish Periwinkle. No, that's why they're scared. This is over and done with. And you criminals, again, don't take the coward's way out. My first concern is for your eternal soul. Do not take the coward's way out. Do not take the coward's way out. Do not kill yourself. Otherwise, you will split hell wide open. You must repent. All of you all. You must repent. Otherwise, well, at some point in time, at some point in time, everyone's life comes to an end. And you will have to give an account. And you will be judged. Not by some crooked judge, but by the Creator of the universe. By the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And you will have to give an account for what you've done. We all will give an account. The books will be opened. If you think the pressure that you're feeling right now is bad, wait until Judgment Day. Especially for those who have not repented and gotten right with their Creator. It's time to get right with your Maker. It's time to start for everyone to start telling the truth. So again, like I've been saying, it only gets worse for these criminals. It only gets worse for these criminals. And if you think it can't get worse, just keep watching. Wait. Just keep watching. So let's get on with this video, shall we? So here's their problem now. They have rewritten the arrest and booking report, and now they have 2 copies of arrest and booking report number 97047-099-5. Not only do they have 2 different copies, one a 2-count felony charge, which is what you're looking at here. They also now have a 1-count misdemeanor case. And to further their problems, they now have both a felony case as well as a misdemeanor case. Both cases using the very same arrest and booking report number 970470999-5. That's what you're looking at right here. Now, both of these numbers have been inserted into the beast. Both of them. The felony case file, and both of them have an offense date of 12/3/1997. Now their plan of not listing either has just become the complicated problem of now you've got to list both. All because it ended up on the docket, for whatever reason, of the Honorable Mallory D. Coopers. Hence, they have to turn around and create both a felony case file as well as a misdemeanor case file, because the beast has record of two different copies. Both the county court clerk of the courts as well as the circuit court clerk of the court's office has a copy of 9/7, has a case for arrest and booking report number 970470999-5. I know about this one. My entire family knows about this one. This is the one that they showed up at my landlord's front door, knocking on their front door. This is the one that they have used to tell everybody about how I'm a sexual deviant and how I wanted a 14-year-old little girl. This is the one, to further their problems, this is the one that Charles Coffer, while impersonating a judge, has told me that all the charges are dropped for. If they admit to what they have done, they all again will go to prison. So, what do? Well, hey, we tried. We've got to cover this up. We've got to cover this up. So what do? Well, they create two separate case files. First one, this one. This is the very first one that was created, because they're still ignoring this felony one. Okay? And just to prove to you, using this misdemeanor case file, that this arrest and booking report was indeed rewritten, even if this printout from the clerk of the court doesn't satisfy you, this one count right there, one count charge, let me move to my little hand, this one count misdemeanor charge of misdemeanor to the second degree of soliciting for prostitution, if that printout right there does not confirm to you, and you still don't believe that that is the rewritten one, I'm going to use their own case file to prove this to you. Okay? And again, this is what they did. They rewrote the arrest and booking report. You're looking at it right here. They turned this two count right here, felony, into a one count misdemeanor. All they got to do, they got plenty of arrest and booking reports around. All they got to do is rewrite everything, because if these people don't do it, they're all going to go to prison. So they rewrite it, and remember, they pretend that the felony one never happened. They say that the first appearance, because the clerk of the court already has 970470099-5 has already been inserted. It's been inserted as a felony. All the clerk needs is an outcome for 970470099-5. Okay? So, to show you how they did it, this is how they did it. This is what they're saying happened. And you've been looking at this the whole time. Okay? What they're saying is, this is Bram Scharf saying that they're not pursuing charges on the felony count. We're going to go back down here to Terrence Martin's portion. Notice, here's the one count. It's just solicitation for prostitution. What happened to the minor aspect? What happened to the minor? Well, again, this is the problem document. So what they're really saying is, again, and you're looking right at it, this never happened. None. We're not pressing charges. So this piece of paper is supposed to get rid of this. Because just because you're arrested for something doesn't mean you're charged with something. Okay? People get arrested all the time for things and are never charged with them. They're just like, no, that didn't happen. No, you overstepped your bounds, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So what they're saying is, this didn't happen. It was really just a misdemeanor. Solicitation of prostitution is what it really is. That is what this piece of paper is saying. Okay? But this piece of paper, again, which proves that this piece of paper was written before January 6th, 1998, or January 5th, as it says here. Okay? And if you read it, this is to the Chief, Duval County Jail. This is your authority to make necessary changes or corrections, if any, to the booking report of the below named defendant. What they're basically saying is, rewrite it. Rewrite it. Because a charge can be dropped. A charge can be dropped. A police officer can get it wrong. Hello, they're only human. They don't have to get anything. Okay? So what this is saying is that none of it happened. Because, again, the narrative section doesn't say anything about soliciting an adult. It only talks about a 14-year-old little girl. This is their problem. They're trying to make this go away. So what this piece of paper, what this document is saying is, it was really only solicitation of prostitution. So that's the one charge that we're gonna pursue. Now, to further show that, using this case file, you all have been looking at the problem the whole time. Okay? And again, this is what they did. They're saying that at the arraignment date, my arraignment date, my first appearance on 12/4, I am just like the two roommates. Okay? I pled no contest on 12/4 is what they're saying. Okay? And I signed over my right. I gave what's his name? Supposedly, they're saying that I gave Richard Sellinger power of attorney to let him stand in my proxy at my sentencing hearing. Okay? So, I pled no contest on the 4th at my first appearance. is what they're saying. So this didn't happen. They're saying that this was really, just take, instead of saying felony, it should say misdemeanor. Is what the judge is looking at. And it's got, all of the information is the same, except for there's no arraignment date. I pled no contest. This is the story that it's going with now. I pled no contest on 12/4, and then I was ordered to take the AIDS test. Okay, and now 12/1/6 is not an arraignment date. It is my sentencing hearing. Just like the two roommates. Are you with me? Good. Okay, so I'll prove that using this document, using their own case file. First, notice we're going to zoom in. We're going to zoom in to this section right here. Okay, is what we're going to do. When was everything entered? Line 1 was entered when? 1/6/1998. Line 1, line 2, line 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, line 11, line 12, line 13, line 14. 1 through 14 was entered 1/6/1998. What that means is this case file did not exist until 1/6/1998 is what that means. Same thing with the felony case file. Same thing. All line 1 through 5 did not exist. This case file did not exist until when? 1/6/1998. You're looking right at it. That's when it was entered in. Because they were forced to create this, because it ended up on the docket of the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper, and they filed it. And now they have 2/9/7. They have 2 cases. They have 2 different cases. They have recorded and documented 2 separate arrest and booking report dockets of 9/7/047/099-5. One a felony, one a 2-count felony count, the other one a 1-count misdemeanor count. That's what you're looking at. And that's why these dates are listed. That line 1 through 14 did not exist until 1/6/1998. You're looking right at it. Which means this misdemeanor case file did not exist until 1/6/1998. What was the date of the arraignment? Supposed arraignment, 1/6/1998. That was the sentencing date. And here's proof. Here is proof. Okay? Here is what I'm talking about. Florida Statute 796.08. Screening for HIV and sexually transmitted diseases, providing penalties. We're going to come down to number 3. A person convicted under 796.07 of prostitution. That be me. I was found guilty. Judgment and sentence. Found guilty. That's convicted. I am guilty. Okay? Even according to the misdemeanor case file. Okay? Right here. Defendant adjudged guilty on 1/6/1998. I'm about to zoom in. See it? Defendant adjudged guilty. This is the misdemeanor case file. This is the misdemeanor case file. You're looking right at it, okay? Defendant adjudged guilty on 1/6/1998. That's supposed to be the very date of it, okay? So, this statute, this right here, a person convicted under 796.07 of prostitution or procuring another to commit prostitution must undergo screening for a sexually transmittable disease, including but not limited to screening to detect exposure to the HIV virus. Must. Now, if I was found guilty, if this is really an arraignment date, then where is the order? Where is the order to take the HIV test? You've seen it in the other cases. It's not in there. It's not a sentencing. It's not an arraignment date. It is the sentencing hearing. That already took place on paper. On the 4th. This is rewritten. Remember, they're controlling all the information. To further prove, not only did this, you're seeing already that line 1 through 14 did not even exist until 1/6/1998. Well, that's because, they had no intention on making it. See, there's 97, booking report 97047-099-5. And the felony case file 97047-099-5. Okay? They've got 2 arrest and booking reports, a felony and a misdemeanor. It can't happen. Now it's trying to get you all convinced that you cannot be adjudged guilty as well as sentenced on the same day for solicitation of prostitution because of Florida statute 796.08. Because if you found guilty, then you must, you're reading it, must undergo screening for a sexually transmittable disease. Okay? Now, to further prove that this supposedly took, that this is not an arraignment date, it is a sentencing hearing. Do you all remember how many days you have to pay the court costs? Because remember, Mallory Cooper ordered court costs, $150 worth, 50, 5, and 50. That's $105 worth. Okay? Let's go down here. They even right here. Right here. 50, 5, and 50. 50, 5, and 50. How many days do you have to pay for that? That be 90. Guess what dummies forgot to do? Dummies forgot to pay the court costs. 90 days later, Judge Mallory Cooper, just like with the first guy, sets out a capias and sets a bond at $210 for failing to pay the court costs. They were so busy trying to figure out how in the world we got to create that. We've got how to hide this. How in the world do we list this? Because remember, their whole goal was to get rid of this. Now they've got 2 copies of this, 2 documentations of this, and now they've got to create a case file for each one. For each one. So what's their solution? Write this case file like this. Add this. There is no such thing as an attempted. They control the information. They're just trying to say, they're trying to make it look like, because they know at some point in time, I'm going to find out about this. Somebody's going to do a background check on me at some point, and I'm going to have to explain why is there an arrest for soliciting for prostitution. That they were forced to make the case. Forced to make the case file. Okay? So this is just to make it look like that this is what this one is. That's what this one is, because this is the one that everybody knows about. This is the one that all of my family knows about, is this one, this felony one. So here we go. We're going to make it look like that we dropped and abandoned. So what did they do? Because okay, we're caught, but we're going to have to drive this guy out of town. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to list it as the most vile thing that we can. We're going to list it as, we're going to tell everybody that it was really, that what he really did. Not only did he really want a 14-year-old little girl, he really had sex with a child under the age of 16. Hey, if we get caught, look, what have we got to lose by this point? We've got nothing to lose. And what we're going to say is, it was dropped and abandoned. He got away with it, people. That's putting a huge target on my back. And there's no record of it. We've already been through this. The FDLE said that no one in the entire United States of America, by the name of Kerry Nelson, has ever even been arrested for a lewd or lascivious act of any kind, let alone lewd or lascivious sexual battery. So they're busy creating these, trying to figure out how in the world do we make it look some kind of sense, so that it'll confuse even it will make sense to, the know-it-alls, the control freaks that want to use this. Oh my God, Kerry, you're a pervert. Look what you tried. I can't believe what you tried. Look, and not only that, geez and Pete, you're also soliciting for prostitution. And what did they do? They forgot to pay the case fees. They forgot to pay either they forgot or they're too tight and they didn't pay for it. Why? Here's why. Here's why. Because 90 days later, I'll show you right here. 90 days later, on 4/3, that's 90 days after the 3rd. 90 days from 12/3 is 4/3. What does she do? She orders a capias and orders a capias, which is not a bench warrant. The bond is set at $210. That tells you it's just because it's double the amount of the court costs. All they want me to do is pay the court costs. But what? And here it is. Here it is. See the case? That's a new case. It's a different crime. It is, just like they have it listed up here, it is an indirect statute 901.11, contempt of court. That is an indirect contempt of court. That be this one. Failure to appear as commanded by a summons without good cause is an indirect criminal contempt of court and may be punished by a fine of no more than $100. When a person fails to appear as commanded by summons, the magistrate shall issue a warrant. What was the command to appear for? The command, well, let's read it. Let's read it. The command, by order of this court dated 2/20/98, the defendant was ordered to appear in the office of the clerk of the court to pay a fine. What fine? The $105 court costs. that I wasn't at, I had no knowledge of. But watch what happens. What do? They turn an indirect contempt of court into a direct contempt of court. They turn an indirect into a failure. Any person who willfully fails to appear before any court or judicial officer. Now what they're saying is, they're saying I never even showed up to the court case. You don't believe me? Watch this. The state of Florida, to all and singular, the sheriff of the state of Florida, greetings. You are hereby commanded to take Kerry Nelson, if he be found in your county, and him safely keep, so that you have his body before the judge of our county court in and for the county of Duval and state of Florida at the courthouse in Jacksonville, Florida, to answer unto the state of Florida for soliciting for prostitution, FTA, failure to appear. So what they're saying, folks, is that I failed to appear to answer to the charge of soliciting for prostitution. You know, the very same one that the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper has already, and it's already in the court record book, of me being found guilty. All because dum-dums forgot to pay the court costs. And that is where they get the case number for. Now they're going to hide this case file, and they're going to suddenly say, you know what? It wasn't a 1997 case. It's really, he never showed up to the 1997. Oh, look at that. They're waving their magic wand again, and they're saying, hey, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. What he really did is he didn't show up. It didn't happen. So we don't have to put all the, now you, oh, see, light bulb's coming on. Now you know why there is no arrest and booking report number 9704799-5 in this case file. Because, hey, he failed to appear. See how screwed up it is? All because the idiots forgot to pay the court costs, or they were too cheap to pay it. Now, they have just brought me back into the equation, because now, why did they turn it? Why did they turn an indirect contempt of court into a direct failure to appear? Here's why. I could have showed up before any. I could have gotten stopping for a traffic ticket and been brought in, and I would have showed up before any court, and then I would have instantly questioned it, saying, hold on a second. They told me that was taken care of. That's what they told me. They told me that was taken care of. That was dropped and abandoned. Charles Coffer, I got the letter. I got the letter from the state attorney's office. I've already been before the court. No, they said it was all dropped and abandoned. So, they can't do that. So, what they're going to have to do? They're going to have, they turn it into why do they turn it into a failure to appear? Because when you fail to appear before a judge, that really kind of upsets the judge. And you need to be brought back before the very judge that issued it. One little problem. Charles Coffer, now you know why Charles Coffer's name is listed there. Because that's who I'm going to end up before. Eventually. When? In 2000. Why don't they bring me in now? Well, simple. He ain't a judge yet. He doesn't become a judge until 3 months from now. This is 4/9/1998 that they're doing this. And notice, please, the first one was issued on 4/6/1998. So this indirect failing to pay court cost turns into a direct failure to appear. Hey, I didn't even show up now. I haven't shown up. I didn't even show up for the case file that I supposedly pled no contest to in open court, and the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper has found me guilty of on 1/6/1998. And you cannot be found guilty and sentenced of you cannot be found guilty and adjudicated guilty for soliciting for prostitution on the very same day. Because if you're found guilty, if you're convicted of it, of violating 796.07, you must undergo screening for sexually transmittable disease. So if I did that, where exactly is that order? Don't know. It's not in there because it never happened. Because they've just documented. Now they're just creating a bigger paper trail. They're just created a bigger paper trail. All why? Why is all of this happening? Now how many more people are you going to drag into it? A bunch more. Because now you've got two different clerk of the courts committing simulated legal process because they've created this felony case file. I mean this misdemeanor case file. Now you know what it's for. Supposedly I never showed up to the first one. Now this should be a 1997 case file. But they can't list it as a 1997 case file, because if they do, then they'll be admitting that they rewrote the arrest and booking report, because this is the only arrest and booking report that my family or myself have record of, have knowledge of. This is the one that my pastor bonded me out for. Remember? They are so stuck like Chuck. By this point in time, they know, look, we've got to drive this guy out. It's only a matter of time before he shows up, and what's happening right now happens to them. We got to drive this guy out of the city. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to make this felony case file. We're going to say that he was arrested for lewd or lascivious act, sexual battery. We're going to call him the worst of the worst. And we're gonna make it look like that he got away with it. We're gonna say it was dropped and abandoned. One little problem: I'm self-employed, so they're gonna be waiting a long time. I mow lawns for a living, so they're gonna have to come up with some other kind of way to drive me out of the city. But just remember. That right here, I now, as of 4/9/1998, I have a failure to appear capias out. I'm still living at the same address. They have my address. They know right where I live. I don't move out of there, from there, until, I'm going to say 2004, 2003. How about that? Because, well, you'll catch up. But, failure to appear. I have a failure to appear. They have to wait until their guy... You'll understand. They have to wait for Charles Crawford to become a judge before they can do anything about this. Alright? But they still try to solve the problem. They still try to get rid of this. They still try to take me out in April of 1998. How? This is how. You all remember what I did when they offered me a 14-year-old little girl? What did I do? I called the police on them. Now, they know where I live, right? So again, they're going to try to set up a child of the Most High God. What these scumbags did now, they're so desperate. It is now April of 1998. All right, let me pull it up here. I'm going to go to 1998. Just give me a second here. And we're going to go to April. Okay? According to the court record book, according to the case file, Mallory D. Cooper issued that initial indirect contempt of court on the 6th. They turned around and made it a direct contempt of court, which is a felony. That's simulated illegal process. Again, multiple felonies. These people have got nothing to lose now, folks, so now they've got to take me out. The 6th was a Monday. The 9th is a Thursday. Saturday, the 11th, me and Charlie are sitting at my house. Charlie is my dog, just so you remember. Are sitting at my house. It's a beautiful April Saturday afternoon. We're just chilling out. And what are they going to do? They're going to bring me a real 15-year-old little girl, folks. Because they know, here's what they know. They know they think they know what I'm going to do. They know what I did last time, which also proves that I called up the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and reported them pimping out a 14-year-old little girl. Now what are they going to do? They're about to bring over a real, actual 15-year-old little girl and have a real, actual 15-year-old little girl solicit me at my house, on my front porch. This is what happens. Me and Charlie sitting down, we're watching TV, and all of a sudden into my driveway pulls a light blue minivan. A Chrysler Caravan, to be exact. Okay? And I'm like, who in the world is this? Okay? The house that I have, it's not a house, it's a mobile home. Okay? And it's the driveway. The driveway runs the length of the front of the mobile home. So my lawn van is pulled up all the way to the edge, to the end of the driveway, and the lawn trailer itself is at my front door. When I open up my front door, that's what I see as my lawn trail. Is my lawn trailer. So I've got plenty of room between the back of the trailer and you could park like 2 or 3 more cars. That's how big the property was. So here comes this minivan, a light blue Chrysler Caravan minivan. Okay? And comes pulling in. And I'm like, who in the world is this? And as I get up to look, because I don't have anybody who'll come over to my property, okay? As I get up to go look, I'm about to bring Charlie out with me. And the Lord says, no, don't bring Charlie out. Leave Charlie in here. Why? Because the Lord knows what's about to happen. And he doesn't want, anyway. So this is what happened. So I said, okay, Charlie, you stay in here. And I close the door. So Charlie goes up to the window, and he's looking out the window, sitting right there watching. Because hello, who's getting out this? Oh, that's a grown man steps out of this van, and this is what he says to me. "Hey, Kerry, I hear you like young girls." Right then and there. Right then and there, I'm like, okay, I know who this is. This is a Jacksonville Sheriff's officer who's trying to get even with me because I got all of his guys in trouble because I reported their crimes. Remember, folks, I don't pursue. I'm trusting that the godly authorities are going to take care of everything. I'm not making sure everything's happening. I don't go around. I know I reported these people. I've been told that all the charges were dropped. Okay? And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, this dude, this guy is trying to get me in trouble because I got some of his friends in trouble. I don't know what happened to these people. I haven't got a clue. But I don't realize that yet. Here's what I know. I know that I don't like young girls. More gaslighting, folks. They're dangling the carrot. They're dangling the carrot. They don't want me to see. They already know I'm not going to see the girl. They want me to call the police. I'm talking to a Jacksonville Sheriff's officer right there. That's a Jacksonville Sheriff's officer that I'm talking to, and he's offering me, just like Strickland did, he's about to offer right to my face so I can see that it's a real 15-year-old little girl. He tells me, "I hear you like young girls." There's the only people that have said that I like young girls are these criminals right here in this arrest and booking report. The only people that they could have heard that from was from the criminals who I'm now convinced that I have gotten in some kind of trouble. Okay? That's the only ones that have ever said that about me. Because it's not true. He says, "So I've got somebody here I want you to meet. She's 15. He tells me. She's 15. And he goes up to the door and he opens up the passenger door and he says, "Come on out, honey. Here, go talk to the guy." Boy, I am so pissed, it's not funny. I am standing on my front porch and this dude is pimping out a 15, and it was a real 15-year-old little girl. It wasn't no grown woman. It was a real baby fat 15-year-old little girl. I know what a teenage girl looks like. There's certain things that females cannot. The easiest way to tell a female's age is to look at their hands, their neck, and their eyes. A teenage girl has no veins on their hands. No veins protruding out. The skin is smooth. No wrinkles. The neck, same way. No veins, smooth little neck. Eyes, same way. No crow's feet. No bags. Nothing. I'm standing here looking at a 15-year-old child. And this little girl walks up. I'm standing on my porch. I'm not saying a word. Walks up to the second step and says, "Hi." She may have said her name. "I would really like to spend some time with you. We can do whatever you want. I just want to spend some time with you." She solicited me. "We can do whatever you want." And I'm just looking at her. Now, what do I hear behind me? I hear Charlie growling. Charlie's again, he's one pissed off puppy too. And I'm just sitting there looking at this girl and looking back at the guy. Because the guy's gotten back into the minivan. And then she says, "Well, look, you think about it. because I don't say a word to the girl. She says, you think about it, and here, let me give you my phone number. And then she goes back to the van. I'm just standing there on my, I'm literally so fuming mad. It's not funny. She goes back to the van. She gets a piece of paper. The guy gives her a pen and she writes down a cell phone number. And she comes back up and she goes, here, if you change your mind, we're going to be over at a bar over on University Boulevard. She's already told me she's 15 years old. We're going to be at that bar, so if you want me to come over, all you got to do is call this phone number. And I take it. She puts it in my hand. And then she says, bye, call me. Goes to the van, gets in the van backs out the door, backs out my driveway, and then goes out to Atlantic Boulevard. And I'm furious. I said, Lord, what do I do? He says, do nothing. They just set up a paradoxical situation, folks, is what they just did. They tried to catch me in a catch-22. Again, that was a Jacksonville sheriff's officer that I was talking to. They already know that I have reported them pimping out a 14-year-old little girl in this arrest in December. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to recreate the situation. They gave me the phone number. If you do not respond to the paradoxical situation, then they're stuck like Chuck. You can't get caught in it. They wanted me to either go meet them where the police are going to be waiting for me, or they wanted me to call the police and report that this guy came over. Because what they would have said is, no. He reported to us. He solicited us first. You see what I'm talking about? That way, no matter what I do, they're going to take me out. They got to do something with me. Otherwise, they're all going to go to prison. So what do I do? I say, Lord, what do I do? What do you want me to do? He says, don't do anything. I said, what? The dude was just pimping out he just brought up a 15-year-old girl, Lord. He's pimping out another. That's a real girl. And he said, it's a setup. Don't do anything. I said, what do I do with this phone number? He says, burn it. So I said, okay. I burned it. I burned the phone number. He said, if it's burned, you can't call it. You can't even be tempted to call it. Do not call that phone number. Do not call and report anything. Now what you going to report? You can't report anything if you don't have that phone. I said, yes, Lord, okay. The guy never came back. That's some sick people. He never came back. What's he going to do? Come back? And then, what, get shot? I'm so, man, I was so pissed. I was so pissed. These people are some sick, desperate people. Now they've got a real 15-year-old little girl coming over to my house saying, I hear you like you, and offering herself to spend time with me alone. Give me a break. That's how you knew it was a real girl. It was a real kid. She didn't say, I want to have sex with you like Etheridge did. She just said, hey, we can just hang out and you can do whatever you want. Was her exact words. You can do whatever you want. I'm willing to do anything. These are some sick people. And all of this is happening to me simply because I called an ad that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office had put in the Florida Times-Union in December, and I called and asked for information on how it all worked. And now here it is in April, and they're still harassing me. They're still terrorizing me in April. But what can I do? If I report that they came over, then I just fall. If I respond in any way, if I report the crime, they'll say, "No, you're just trying. No, you solicited them. You solicited it. It was a setup." So I just didn't call. Hello, I'm still right here. They never came back. Be obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Stop trying to make things happen, folks. Oh, I would have called. Yeah, you would have been in prison. If I would have called the police and reported it, hey, look, I got in trouble the last time I reported it. No, all of this happened because I reported their crimes. That's what I said. Okay, they're mad because now they're just trying to get me in trouble because I got their friends in trouble. Okay, fine. Hey, there's bad cops around. There's a whole lot more of them than you think. So, that's what they tried on April 11th, 1998. All because this. See how it's snowballing now? Now they're getting 15-year-old little kids involved. 15-year-old little kids. I don't know what they told that kid. Hey, you want to help? You want to help out your granddad? You want to help out your dad? You want to help out your uncle? I don't know who it was, but it was a real 15-year-old little girl. Sick, deprived people. Hey, we got to do something, otherwise we're all going to go to prison. Well, guess what, Bubbas? Y'all are all going to prison. You all are all going to prison. Because, now, I found out about it. So, now, at the very least, they've just tipped a hand that, hello, they're after me. Because, again, they never came back. You can't set somebody up if you don't respond to the bullying, then the bully is outed for being a bully. If you don't respond to the threats, if you ignore it, then they get outed for then the one that's threatening you gets outed for threatening you, and they look like a fool because the bully never follows through with the bullying, and the one that threatens never follows through with the threat. That's why it's called a threat. So now they just tried to clean it up. So now what do they still have? They still have the misdemeanor case file created. They still have the felony case file created. And they still have this bench warrant. A failure to appear. Failure to appear. That is Florida Statute 901.31. Failure to obey written promise to appear. Any person who willfully fails to appear before any court or judicial officer as required by a written notice to appear shall be fined not more than the fine of the principal charge or imprisoned up to the maximum sentence of imprisonment of the principal charge or both. Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what happens with this failure to appear. Okay? It's saying that you got at the very least you got to pay a fine and spend time in jail. Read again. Shall be fined not more than the fine of the principal charge, or shall be imprisoned up to the maximum sentence of imprisonment of the principal charge. In other words, the initial charge that you failed to appear before. So now there's two. Oh, now you're understanding why there's two. Now you're understanding why there are two things in here where Terrence Martin said that I solicited Officer C. Ratley. Don't you? Now you understand why. Here's one. Here's two. Now you're understanding why there's two in there, don't you? You understand now? Yep. Now you understand, because the failure to appear says you're charged for it twice. You shall be fined not more than the fine of the principal charge, the original charge. That's what the principal charge is. Or imprisoned up to the maximum sentence of imprisonment of the principal charge or original charge. Or both. Well, there's no record of me ever being arrested for soliciting for prostitution. So they can't imprison me for anything. All they've done is dug their hole even deeper now. Now they're creating more of a paper trail. Now you've got every officer in the state, every law enforcement officer. That's what it says. Read it again, folks. Read it again. Read it again. To all and singular the sheriffs of the state of Florida, greetings. This is going across the state. You are hereby commanded to take Nelson Kerry, if he be found in your county. This is across the whole state of Florida. And him safely keep, so that you have his body before the judge of our county court in and for the county of Duval and state of Florida at the courthouse in Jacksonville, to answer unto the state of Florida for soliciting for prostitution, failure to appear. And that happened on that was issued on 4/9/1998. Okay? 4/9/1998. Now you understand why the felony case file says lewd or lascivious act, sexual battery? They're trying to drive me out of the state, out of the city. They want me to leave. Because there's only a matter of time before I find out about this. It's only a matter of time before their goose gets cooked. Because they have done nothing except documented themselves committing multiple felonies to me and upon me. Now do you understand why it has a 1998 case file number? Yeah, I think you do. I think you do. Now do you understand why it says dropped and abandoned? Now do you understand? This is the only document that you need, folks. Everything else after this is illegal. This is all you need right here. Now do you understand why this false felony arrest from 12/3/1997 is still hiding at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office now in the year 2018 with these fake, false, made-up felony, non-existent charges that not only did not happen, cannot happen? I think you do. I think you understand exactly why. But again, folks, they're not done yet. They are not done yet. They will not be satisfied until I am gone, because the longer that I stay in this city, the more likely it is that I'm going to expose them for the fakes and frauds that they are, that I'm going to stand up, because again, they already know what I did. Now, what they know now is we can't even tempt the guy we can't even set the guy up They're convinced that I'm on to them because they just brought over a 15-year-old girl to my house, and I didn't take the bait, and I didn't report them. Now they're convinced, oh, he knows about us. Uh-oh. What happens, the dummies, what happens if he looks into this? What happens if he reports it 2 months from now? What happens if he reports it to somebody else? They're nervous. I'm not going to report to anybody. My God told me not to do anything about it, so I'm not going to do anything about it. But they don't know that. They've got to keep driving me out of this city. Because it's only a matter of time. They know it's only a matter of time before I find out the truth. And they know I'm not a criminal. And it just, again, it further documents and proves that there's no disposition on this. There is no legal lawful, because there is no arrest and booking report, because of this number was filed. This is still the problem for them. And now what they've done is they've just ensured that this will remain, because they created a felony case file, and I've already showed you the contents of the felony case file, and in it is that arrest. You can't put a misdemeanor. Now you understand why it's sitting in there. Now you understand why. They cannot destroy this because they were forced. They cannot destroy this. They cannot destroy it because they prosecuted it on 12/4/1997, and their attempt to make it go away was documented because it ended up on the docket of the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper. So now they were forced to create the felony case file, and felony case files are never destroyed. Ever. So what's their solution? We're going to put all of the documents in the misdemeanor case file and pray that Mr. Nelson doesn't find out about this until it's destroyed. Well, guess what? It wasn't destroyed until after. It wasn't destroyed even up until the year 2013. Meaning, why? Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, so shall he also reap. It's reaping time. Now, I'm going to show you now what they've done, how they tried to drive me out using their own documents. I'm going to prove to you that they have been trying to drive me out of this city since 12/4/1997. If you are wondering why they would do that to me, why would they get a 15-year-old little girl involved in this? This is why. If you remember, I told you I was going to show you the arrest and booking report of the 60-year-old guy. This is the very first guy. Okay? This is the 60-year-old guy. There's his age right there. This is the very first one. Offense date 12/2/1997. Okay? And here we go. We're going to scroll down. Soliciting for prostitution. Okay? 4 months probation, Salvation Army, AIDS test, all of that's listed on the arrest and booking report, because they don't realize that he's just going to skip out. This is the one whose case file has been destroyed. There's the judge, Roberto. There's Roberto, okay? Again, how much money does he have? Zero money. How much property was taken by arrest? What property? What evidence do they have? None. No property. He's got no property. He's got no money. What evidence do they have? Just like mine, none. But here's what I want you to notice. Here's what's different. No local record reported to FBI/FDLE. What does that mean? That means that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has reported something to both the FDLE and the FBI. What have they reported? They have reported that I was arrested for lewd and lascivious sexual battery, is what they've reported. And there is no record of anyone by the name of Kerry Nelson ever being arrested for any type of criminal act, sexual or otherwise, against a child under the age of 16. We've already done that search. Okay? Now, what I also want you to notice is that he has only been in Jacksonville for 3 weeks. So, if he's only been in Jacksonville for 3 weeks, and according to their own document, he has no local record, how in the world can he be a repeat offender? Why is this guy saying that he was it was a first degree misdemeanor, meaning he's been arrested more than once for soliciting for prostitution? And again, how in the world can he do that if this, according to this 1212 story, if this was the very first ever reverse escort sting in which police targeted the Johns? They're lying to you. They're trying to cover up. They're trying to cover up their crimes. Okay? But now, what we're going to do is, so it looks very familiar to mine, doesn't it? No money, no evidence, no personal property, none. And how was the arrest made? The arrest was made on view. Okay? This is the first one, folks. The guy's 60 years old. Now we're going to read the narrative. Now, this is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office copy. I can't get a copy from the court because the case file has been destroyed. Okay? But this is still on record. Just because the case file says that it was destroyed doesn't mean that the documents were destroyed, because, hello, I've got this document right here. I got this from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And notice, they have redacted. I haven't. They have. Okay? So, just like with my narrative, this narrative section has no timeline. Okay? On Tuesday, 12/2/1997, Vice detectives conducted an undercover prostitution investigation at, that's the guy's address. That's where he lives. How in the world do they conduct a undercover prostitution investigation at this guy's house? And how are they doing it? Why, they're doing it through the listed suspect responded to an ad placed in the Florida Times-Union. All of that goes over your head simply because of who was telling you this. What that says is they are conducting an investigation into this guy for prostitution, and the way they're doing it is they put an ad in the Florida Times-Union to get the guy to call. That's what they're saying. Florida Times-Union by Vice detectives conducting an escort sting operation. You're reading it. The suspect, remember, he's just called a suspect. I was called a defendant. The suspect called the listed number and requested a male escort. Well, you better have that on tape. Then the names are redacted. 2 Vice officers show up. That's who's listed right there. 2 names. They responded, meaning they went to the guy's house, engaged the listed suspect in conversation at the guy's house, where he agreed to pay, there's that word again, agreed, How in the world can you agree to do anything without being offered something? I don't believe this happened. Agreed to pay the detective $80 to have sex with him. The suspect was arrested, Mirandized, and transported to the pretrial detention facility. Well, remember, this guy's case file has been destroyed. He still owes the court. He hasn't paid $200 in court fees. So I guess, why? Because that didn't happen. You're reading a lie. And who is the supervising officer? Who is the supervising officer, approving supervisor? Sergeant D. Stevens. ID number 6129. That's his badge number. Let me translate this for you folks. Okay? This is exactly what this says. They went over, first ever reverse escort sting operation. It's day 2. This is December 2nd that this happened. December 1st was the first day of the week. This is a Tuesday. Monday, they had been running the ad since December 1st, which was a Monday in 1997. And it's day 2, and they haven't caught anybody. So, it said, again, no timeline, no time given as to when the guy called or nothing. Okay? This is what he did. He called up, they came over, and he realized he wasn't comfortable with it. He wasn't comfortable with it, so they arrested him anyway. They drug him out of the house. How in the world can you agree to pay someone $80 when you have no money? None. You have no money. There is no evidence of this taking place. Right there, just like mine. No evidence. He has no personal property. All of that happened off a tape. They're in the guy's house. We have no idea how long. It could have been 2.5 hours, just like they did me. We have no idea how long they came over. And remember, the only thing that they supposedly have on tape is that he requested a male escort. I don't believe that happened. I believe he called up, asked for a girl, and then the girl came over, and he changed his mind. He changed his mind. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. First, documented case. You're looking right at it. There was no legal lawful reason for these people to have arrested him. You want proof of it? Well, then just go back and look at the case file. It's been destroyed. He's never been sentenced. He's never paid the court costs. They want him to go away. And again, who is the approving supervisor officer? Sergeant David, Sergeant D. Stevens. There's his little John Hancock. Everybody else said, nope, I ain't no way in the world I'm putting my name on this. Don't worry, I got it covered, folks. I got it covered, guys. I got you back. Good job. Good job. We'll just shame him into admitting by telling him that we're going to tell everybody that he wanted to have sex with a man. Again, he is 60 years old. Okay? He's from New York. Okay? He's from New York. He's a Catholic. So what we're going to do, we're going to shame you. We're going to shame you unless you admit that you were trying to pay for sex. We're going to tell everybody that you are gay, that you like men. You really wanted a man. You're reading it. You've already seen that the case file was destroyed. They got a lot to hide. This is the arrest and booking report for the 67-year-old man. 67-year-old man. Right there. Where's he from? He's from New York. How long has he been in Jacksonville? He's been in Jacksonville 1 day. This is the guy with Parkinson's that they arrested at the Mayo Clinic for soliciting for prostitution. Same thing with him. Where was he arrested? 4600 San Pablo Road, number 331. That's the Mayo Clinic. No local record reported to FBI/FDLE. Okay? Same thing with him. How much money does he have? None. What property taken? None. Who's the judge? Roberto. How was arrest made? On view. What evidence do they have? None. Where's the damn credit card? Where's the credit card? Again, see how much shorter these are? I'm going to tell you what they did. They solicited. See how much shorter this narrative is compared to mine? Mine was 222 words. This is a couple of sentences. On 12/4/97, Vice detectives conducted an undercover prostitution investigation. The defendant, Mr. P, called an ad in the paper. The defendant spoke with decoy. Who is that? That's Etheridge. This is the JSO copy. I have that. Hold on, let me get it for you. Hold on. This is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. This is the court version. This is the court copy. There's Etheridge, the same one that solicited me. The same one. I'm only using this one because it's easier to read. It's a better copy. Okay? Police decoy who? Etheridge, and requested that an escort be sent to his room at, and again they list it. I don't redact it because it's the Mayo Clinic. He's got Parkinson's disease. In that conversation on the phone, the defendant agreed to pay her $125 for oral sex. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, Sergeant David Stevens. You told everybody that the 67-year-old man wanted sex, not oral sex. So let me tell you what they did. They called up this 67-year-old man, or this 67-year-old man called him up, and they heard it was an old guy, and she said, you know what, if you want a blowjob, you pay me $125, I'll come over and give you a blowjob. Just like Etheridge did the day before with me while pretending to be a 14-year-old little girl. If you give me $100, I'll come over and give you a blowjob, and you can... Well, I'm not going to say it again. Same thing. Same officer. Officer M. Etheridge. And requested an escort be... Well, all right, we're going to go back. So this is what he did. I want a girl to come over. What can I expect? Well, if it all depends on how much money you pay. If you give me $125, I'll give you a blowjob. You already know that they did it to me, right there in their own handwriting. They need this to go away. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're going in and they're creating crimes that don't exist. The defendant said he would pay using a credit card. Again, no timeline. Using a credit card that he just doesn't have. Where is it? If he offered to pay with a credit card, that should be evidence. Where is it at? Evidence. None. None. Right there. Let me zoom in. Evidence. None. Personal property. None. He's got no money. No credit card. No money. How can you agree to pay somebody with something that you just don't have? They're lying. They're lying. They are lying. Plain and simple. And again, no timeline. When did he call? What time did he call? What time did you all get over there? How long were you all there? No timeline. The defendant said he would pay using a credit card. When officer arrived at his room, what time did y'all show up? He confirmed that he wanted oral sex for $125. So again, if they know that the guy is willing to pay for oral sex, why do they show up? They offered it. They agreed to show up. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. You're just trying to shame the guy. Well, what happened? I'm going to tell you when they found out that he had a credit card once they got there. That's why there's no timeline on this thing. I don't think he ever agreed to pay for it with a credit card. They just figure he's got a credit card because, hello, he's staying at the Mayo Clinic. He's got to pay for it with something. Hello? Hello? Third person that they have abducted. Why do you think he's fighting it? I didn't do anything wrong. They just came and grabbed me out of my house. I had no money on me. So says their own booking report. This is what happens. He calls up. He says, hey, I want to see a girl. And what can I expect? And little Etheridge says, oh, such a sweet old guy. Are you horny? I'm telling you, the vileness that comes out of these people's mouths is disgusting. And again, he's got Parkinson's disease. Oh, you horny? I tell you what, if you give me $125, I'll come over there and give you a blowjob. Yeah, I'll do that for you. It's usually more. I'll do that for you. All right, come on over. He's got Parkinson's. So that's when they show up. So they show up. Hey, oh, you're such a sweet guy. So you still want a blowjob? Okay, give me $125. Oh, I don't have $125. What? No, I don't have $125. All I got is a credit card. What? What? Why do you think there's no timeline? No timeline. No timeline. And oh, just so you know, right here. Here we go. Let's zoom in on this. This is jail remarks. This is the nurse, because you get a physical examination. They check your blood pressure and everything. Here's his blood pressure: 140/60. Pulse is 72. Rate is 18. I don't know what the R stands for. Parkinson's. Their own handwriting. He's got Parkinson's. And so far this year, he's had dizzy spells. He's had a brain hemorrhage. You're reading it. A brain hemorrhage this year. Right now, he's stable at this time. Even though they've come over, this is a tough guy. This is a tough old dude. Even though they've come over, they have abducted him. He's still stable. Okay. A and O. I don't know. Further, I can't read this. I don't know. Further insuring accepted. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But right there, the guy's got Parkinson's, and he tells him, so far this year, I've had dizzy spells, and I've had a brain hemorrhage, and these idiots are still kidnapping him. You're reading it! You're reading it. Third one. 3 documented cases. That's why they got to make me go away. They got to make me go away because I am the only one who has not admitted that I was, at the very least, trying to pay for sex. I'm the only one. Because why have I not admitted it? Well, because I wasn't looking to pay for sex on December 3rd, 1997. Period. Okay? Now, if you want to see what, oh, and also, this is the 67-year-old guy. Notice, they write here, they call him as well being a repeat offender. 796.07 subsection 4B. How come that's not in the arrest search? How come that's not in the arrest search? This is the clerk's copy. This is what's in the case file, and I had it scanned in. Okay? So, now, the last two, you've already seen the roommates. The last two guys, this sting abruptly stopped on what date? December 5th. December 5th. Okay? Now, again, David Stevens is caught in another lie. One of the detectives drove the posing escorts to hotels or residences the callers gave them, and acting as a bodyguard collected the fee after introducing the undercover cops nicknamed Angel and Sabrina. These two guys were arrested. Where were they arrested at? They were arrested at the Motel 6. They were arrested at the Motel 6 on Harts Road. At the Motel 6 on Harts Road. At the Motel 6, where's it at? At the Motel 6 on Harts Road, room 133. Why? Well, let's read the arrest and booking report and we'll see. We'll see exactly why. And here you go. These guys, at least they've got the money listed as evidence. Evidence is checked. $140. Okay? Let's read this one real quick. And again, this one has a timeline. The listed suspect, you know what, hold on, let me get the court version. This one's much easier to read. On 12/5/1997, the listed suspect, again, he's called a suspect, answered an ad placed in the Florida Times Union by Vice detectives for an escort service. The suspect called and spoke to Detective Strickland. See, Detective Strickland can talk to this guy, but he couldn't talk to me. During the ensuing conversation, the suspect asked to see two girls have sex with each other and for them to be able to join in and have sex with them, as well as asked to pay, agreed to pay. In other words, this is what he said. He said, "Hey, Strickland, hey dude, how much would it cost me to watch two girls have sex with each other, perform lesbian sex acts, and if I like it, I want to be able to join in with them." So what does Strickland say? That'll be at least $130. He's pimping out his girls. That's a pimp. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution as well, and agreed to pay $130 for them. You can't agree to something that is not offered. He said, I want to see two girls. How much would it be to see two girls have sex with each other, and I want to be able to join in and have sex with them? How much? And then Strickland set the price. Strickland said $130. And the guy says, great, here we go. He made an appointment for the encounter for 7:30 p.m. There's a timeline now. At the Motel 6 on Harts Road. They've got themselves, the police, JSO now has their own little hotel room. At 7:30 p.m., the suspect arrived at the hotel room and again agreed to the deal. They're saying right there that Strickland and this guy made a deal together on the phone. Strickland is pimping out these girls. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. He paid detectives Strickland $140 and stated that there was a $10 tip. He was arrested and booked into the Duval County Jail. At least there's a timeline for this guy. Right? Right. Okay, this is the last guy. that was arrested in this first ever escort sting operation. And again, what date? 12/5. What time was he arrested? 22:45. The other guy was arrested at 19:35. And again, this guy's arrested in the very same place. Harts Road, Motel 6. Okay? And again, this guy has evidence, cash money, got $110. Okay? So now to read and again, we've got a timeline. We've got a timeline. There it is, Harts Road. We're using the court copy because it's easier to read. Okay? On 12/5/97, Vice detectives conducted an undercover prostitution investigation. The defendant, Mr. C, called an ad in the newspaper and requested to be set up with an escort. Detective Strickland, see, he can talk to these guys, but he can't talk to me. Why can he talk to these guys? Because these guys call up and say, I want to see a girl. I didn't. All I did was call up and ask for information. Okay? Spoke with the defendant, who said that he wanted full service. That is escort talk for sex. The defendant agreed to pay $110. Again, how can you agree to anything without being offered something? Again, this is what happened. The guy calls up. Mr. C calls up and says, hey, dude, look, I want full service, which is a polite way of saying he wants sex. How much for full service? And Strickland said, okay, that will be $110. Guy says, great, that's a discount, great. I'll be more than willing. $110. How do you know full service means sex? Right there. $110 for sexual intercourse. They're telling you. A short while later, the defendant arrived at Motel 6. Motel 6, Harts Road, room 133, and met police decoy. Uh-oh, we got new crew. You didn't notice that, did you? M. Hartzell. He was arrested and booked into Duval County Jail. For what? If you know that that's the reason why they're coming over, how come the police aren't arrested for agreeing to receive the money? There is no such thing as criminal solicitation of prostitution. Okay? So now let's look who was the cast of characters in this one. Oh, one of these dudes had to leave his car. One of these dudes, was it this guy? No, it was the other guy. This guy had to leave his car. That is his car information, where it was left at. Okay? Owner, driver. It's this guy. It's the guy that was arrested. They left it. He lost his car. He had to leave his car there. Where's this guy coming from? This guy is coming from where I think it's Orange Park is where he's coming from. Is where he lives. Anyway, I don't know. They're coming from way across town. Okay? They're coming from way. This guy doesn't have no local record reported to FDLE and FBI and FDLE. Okay? This guy as well. No, this guy's got a record. But now look at who the judge is. Judge is Ferguson. Who's this judge? Ferguson. That's who they're going to show up to. But again, these guys have money on them. They've got the evidence listed, but they go to the police. How come you all didn't say that? You all set up a little, got yourselves a little hotel room. Why do they have to get a little hotel room? I'm going to tell you why. Because they found out, this is the evening of the 5th that all this is going on. They found out the morning of the 5th that they got serious problems. They've got me, and they've got the 67-year-old man who, we're like, no, we didn't do it. So we can't send any more to Roberto. So what we're going to do is we're going to send, and again, I don't blame Ferguson, because Ferguson didn't do anything wrong. Because if you want to admit that you're a criminal, you're a criminal. My only problem is that Ferguson knows that these guys aren't criminals. The courts know that there is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. The police know that there is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. It's just a way to keep a steady flow of people coming into the courtroom. It's an easy way to make sure that they have job security, so they can sit there and keep getting paid for doing something that's menial. Shaming people. But again, we've got a whole brand new cast of characters. Who's the arresting officer? Well, there's Quintero and Strickland. Where's Boimer? And who's the M. Hartzell? We got a new female. We got a new female in here. We got a new cast of characters in here now. Why? What about this one? What about this one? Who's the arresting officer? Well, here we still got Ratley as the witness, and there's the new girl, the new female officer, Hartzell. And who's the arresting officer up here? Same one, Strickland and Quintero. What happened to Boimer? I'm going to tell you what's going on. They grabbed Etheridge and took Etheridge out, and because they questioned her. They grabbed Boimer, and they took Boimer out, and they're questioning him because of what they did to me. And they're trying to get their story straight. That's why in the court that's why they're saying, oh no. I really solicited Ratley. If you remember in the misdemeanor case file documents, where's that? That's why this says that I really solicited Ratley. Where's it at? Right here. Right here. Officer C. Ratley. Because it wasn't Officer C. Ratley. They're trying to cover up for her. Why? Because Etheridge solicited me, just like Etheridge solicited the 67-year-old man. Right here. It's Etheridge. It's Officer Etheridge. M. Etheridge solicited a 67-year-old man. Did the same thing to him that she did to me. Oh, you want a blowjob? Okay, you give me I'll give you a break. You give me $125 and I'll come over there and I'll give you a blowjob. So, Detective Stevens, how come y'all don't say that you all also set up a little hotel room? Oh, why? Because you all are busted. Why did it suddenly stop on Friday? On Friday. Why did the ad continue to run through Sunday? Why did your 4-day sting suddenly stop? Right there, 4-day sting. I'm going to tell you why. Because you all have documented yourself. They're like, no. This is too much of a problem. This is too much of a problem. 3 documented cases of these people Here's the 60-year-old man, documentation that they abducted him. There I am on the 3rd. The 60-year-old man, that happened on the 2nd. I happened on the 3rd. And then they did the very same thing on the 4th to this 67-year-old man with Parkinson's disease. They have no shame. And again, this whole thing should have stopped right here. It's called Fruit of the Poison Tree, is what it's called. As soon, they all stopped being, Sergeant David Stevens stopped being a JSO, stopped being any type of law enforcement officer as soon as he put his John Hancock on this, because he knows what they've done to this guy. And it all happened 12/2/1997. The very first documented supposed arrest is a false arrest, meaning everything that happened after that is null and void. It's as if it didn't happen. Now you know why this guy has listed on it as being a first-degree felon, a repeat offender. That's to keep him quiet. That's to shame him to his family. Oh, don't worry, he's done this before. I've never done this before. Yeah, he has. You all just didn't know about it. He's done it before. See how that works? Folks, there is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. Now do you understand why? Now do you understand why they're trying to drive me out of town? Because again, they got this guy's crooked attorney to plead no contest for him. They think that the first guy pled no contest. They don't realize that he's about to beat feet. That he's never has no intention of coming back. He's like, come on, find me. Come find me. Come find me. Come rearrest me. And I'll sue you. He just told them what they wanted to hear. And remember, his case file's been destroyed. They don't know about him yet. And now they've gone through all of this to get rid of me. And now it's right back on. Now they've brought me right back into the situation, all because dummies were so stupid or too busy creating case files that they forgot to pay the court cost, or else they were too tight. They forgot to pay $105. Now, because no one's ever showed up and paid, anybody could have showed up and paid it. It didn't have to be me. They don't ask you for an ID. Anybody could have paid it. So now what have they did? Because they got caught documenting their crimes, and this proves that Mallory D. Cooper is not involved in any way. If she's involved, she's stupid, because she's helping document it. She's pulling me back in. She's not involved. She was lied to. That's why Almighty God told me you need to get before the Honorable Mallory D. Cooper. Period. So this indirect contempt of court for failing to pay court fines has just turned into a failure to appear. So, in order to cover that up, we got to come over. We got to try to set Kay up again and bring over a 15-year-old little girl. Don't tell me it didn't happen, folks. There is no such thing as criminal solicitation or prostitution. These people are just shredding the Constitution, and now they are hell bent on driving me out of this city. And I just explained why. Period.